الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. Beloved brothers and sisters in Islam, respected ulama, huffaz, honorable viewers and listeners, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala barakatuh. كيف حالكم؟ Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Beloved brothers and sisters, alhamdulillah, I'm sure that we are all still very much attached to the Palestinian issue. It's not something that we can dismiss easily. And on Friday, I mentioned in the khutbah that part of the concern, when a person has a concern for any Muslim that is suffering, it is a sign of Iman. And within that particular light, I'm reflecting on a hadith of beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam on the authority of Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiallahu anhu, as we find in Sahih Muslim, in which the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, this is very important for every believer within this context. Our beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, and I know that many will be familiar with this hadith as well, but you must reflect on what would the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam expect of you within this context. So beloved Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "Man ra'a minkum munkaran falyughayyiru biyadihi." That whosoever from amongst you sees an injustice, a wrongdoing, something which is not permitted, something which displeases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, everything within the category of munkar, our beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam indicated that if you have the capacity or the agency or the ability or the authority to make a change, فَلْيُغَيِّرُ بِيَدِهِ, then you must change it physically, literally with your hand. There must be a physical response to something which is munkar, something which is negated in Islam. And then our beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, فَإِن لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ, but if you don't have istita'a, you do not have the ability or the authority or the agency or the capacity or the finances or whatever it might be, if you don't have istita'a, فَإِن لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ فَبِلِسَانِهِ, then you must speak out against it. You have to make your voice heard. And then our beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam continued, فَإِن لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ, and if you don't have the capacity to speak out against it, you can't tweet, you can't send a WhatsApp message, you can't change your status or post something, whatever it might be, or you can't go on radio or speak to the newspaper, if you can't speak out against it, فَبِقَلْبِهِ, then you must at least have the dislike for it within your hearts. That you must feel disheartened, upset, angry within your hearts. And then our beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and that level, وَذَلِكَ أَضْعَفُ الْإِيمَانِ, and that particular level of dislike, but no other action, would be the lowest form of Iman. Now what we learn from this hadith, my dear brothers and sisters, is that our response to this particular issue is directly correlated to our level of Iman. If you have an agency, the first thing is to physically do something, to physically, stop the wrong, or physically engage in something. And if you can't, then at least speak out against it. And that is why it is beautiful to see that if you check maybe your WhatsApp, right, and you check statuses, I'm sure you'll find that most of your contacts have put up something alerting people to the issue of the Palestinian humanitarian crisis, to the besieging of our brothers and sisters in Palestine. May Allah grant them relief, and may Allah free Palestine. And if we can't get to that stage, then at least have a dislike within your hearts. Now, who would be in the third category? Those who perhaps don't have the capacity to say anything. Maybe they are bedridden, maybe they are ill, they can't move, they're not connected to social media, no one's looking for their opinion. Then at least that person who doesn't have that capacity must still have a dislike in the heart. What's really important is with all levels, there must still be dua for those who need it and dua against those who is deserving of punishment. Very important. Now, we never, as a Muslim, we never make dua for destruction to a Muslim. We never do that. It is forbidden. And you never make dua asking Allah to punish in a certain way. That is not for you and I to determine. But you can ask Allah to destroy. It is permitted, where appropriate. I've decided to just touch on this hadith because, my dear brothers and sisters, in our city, I'm sure a lot of people have been saying this to me, since Friday, saying, where are the PE people? One sheikh phoned me from Cape Town saying, why did I not see PE yet in the news? Protesting. Why is PE silent? Now, one might say, well, what's the value of protesting? What is the value? It is making your voice heard. It is letting government authorities realize, you know what? The Muslims here, and it's not actually a religious matter, but those opposing the conflict, the occupation, are making their voices heard. And so, alhamdulillah, I see we have 3 protests that are going to occur, and I don't even know who's organizing them, because PE, sometimes we want to ask who's organizing before we support it. Now, this is not about who's the organizer here. This is about, there is a protest, there's an action taking place, and in light of this hadith, let there be a physical response to it. Now imagine if there's a protest scheduled, of course, for a Saturday. I will mention them now, but imagine at Saturday's protest, only 5 Muslims appear at King's Beach. Imagine that. What would the Herald report? What would they think of the Muslims? The PE Muslims are not really taking this serious. Because if the voice is heard, we force government to respond to it. We force government. And from the letter that I read out on Friday from the Palestinian resistance fighters, they've urged us, let your government hear your voice so that they can support us in the United Nations. So that they can send aid, they can help us, because that is how our voices get heard. We can't take the decisions, but we can put pressure on our figures of authority. So I'm calling upon the Muslim community to support the protest action. And whichever part of the city you will be from, inshallah, you are from, please try and support it. Inshallah, starting on Wednesday, the 18th of October, at the university, the MSA, they are having a solidarity demonstration Wednesday between 1 and 2, and that is at the Nelson Mandela University South Campus, the Mbazweni building by the flags. So those in that area on Wednesday, inshallah, if you're able to go, please go and clearly demonstrate in, well, of course, in an appropriate manner, dressed appropriately, and having appropriate adab, demonstrate your support for Palestine. Then we have on Thursday, what they are calling Palestine Thursday. There will be solidarity picketing between 7 and 8 in Stanford Road, Beetlestone Road, at the South End Museum, and then also at the New Brighton, at the entry to New Brighton. And then between 12:30 and 2 on Thursday at the Vuyisile Mini Square City Hall, and we are asking everyone to be present there. And then what I deduce will be the main protest for the city, inshallah, will be on Saturday, the 21st of October, at the King's Beach parking lot, and that is going to be at 10:30 a.m., inshallah. 10:30 a.m. Muslim time, inshallah. Okay? Not cultural time. So try and arrive earlier and be dressed appropriately and come with placards and show your support for Palestine, because we've invited the media to this. So the media needs to see the position of the PE Muslims, the Al-Quds Foundation, and imagine how inspiring it will be for the Palestinians who are watching it on their social media and they see brothers and sisters, supporting them, and they see it from all the cities. It's very important. And coupled with this is the dua, the continuous dua that Allah must grant relief to them. And then I also just want to thank everyone for the donations. Alhamdulillah, on Jumu'ah, this masjid was able to raise about 15,000 rand in the Jumu'ah collection on Friday that we then deposited immediately. And then also from the Al-Quds Foundation South Africa, they also noted and they thank all the PE Muslims that assisted in this morning's pledge as well. A few thousands went from our city as well. That is very inspiring. That means that the nur of Allah continues to prevail in the city. And if you have more money, payday comes up again, inshallah, please transfer to the Al-Quds Foundation, to Gift of the Givers, to the organizations that are on the ground in providing aid. May Allah free Palestine. May Allah grant relief to our brothers and sisters. And may Allah return Masjid al-Aqsa to the Muslims. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam alayhi walhamdu Rabbil Alameen.